Hi there, welcome to Prime Time. I'm Paul Orford. I'm back with Daniel from the SplendidAgency, and today we want to talk about AR and VR because there's a lot of buzzwords going. It's probably the buzzword of the last 2 years.
Easy.
And there's a lot of misunderstandings as well. So as ever, let's break it down into VR and then go AR.
Okay.
And then you give us the definition first of what is.
Okay, good to be back again, obviously. So AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality. Primary differences, very easy. VR, imagine you're sitting there, you put on your headset and you're immersed in a virtual existence, in a virtual world, and you can do things in that virtual world. Many people, you can experience a roller coaster ride, you can play a video game, you can interact with other human beings wearing VR sets all around the world within a virtual environment, virtual office space, let's say, for example. All right. And then you've got augmented reality, which is, I think, the easiest way for people to understand is Pokemon Go. That's augmented reality. You're using your phone, right, and you use your phone's camera, you see the space as you see it now, but within that space, through your device, there's some virtual things happening, virtual objects or things happening. So that's augmented reality, right? And very interesting because, and I think we'll get in a bit, is the notion of mixed reality, which combines these two elements together. Okay, and that we'll get there in a bit. Yeah.
All right. So virtual reality. What I'm really keen on this for is, look, with COVID, it's radically changed the way we work, the way we go and meet people, etc. Okay, so there's two things that really piqued my interest. Number one was the office. Okay, again, you have to kind of go with me on this. It's a bit of a thought experiment more than right.
Keep going.
So we will all work in offices in the future. However, it will be a virtual office where we'll be working from home. We've been in our pajamas until 3 p.m. However, we've got the helmet on. So therefore, we're in the virtual real estate.
Home or shared spaces. Regis and all. There's a cubicle of your own to rent out. So that's your office.
You could now have an international company where we're all working from home. However, in the virtual world, we're working in Daniel Inc. 50-story building where you've got 5,000 employees, but you can actually virtually walk through the building. You know, we're going back to
virtual towns. Virtual towns, virtual, financial districts, basically virtual world.
It kind of gets like almost like the Matrix in that extent, where like would we be living more in the virtual world than the reality of eating our porridge whilst we got our helmet on? You know.
Again, and maybe we can try and avoid being a little bit too dystopian in this conversation. All right, let's very, very easy. Right, it took COVID for us humans to finally understand that we don't need to travel on an airplane to go do that meeting in London, for example, with this big client of ours. We were forced indirectly to have to do it because you cannot stop the economy, obviously. We were forced to do it virtually. And guess what? People adapted very quickly. It's become the norm very quickly. It's become acceptable. And have you... Okay, some people might have struggled with it, but I think the vast majority of people that you ask about remote work and having a virtual office, etc., they'll tell you, yeah, mate, I'm fine. You know, I don't have to, even by having, let's say, a virtual avatar, you can skip other things like putting on makeup in the morning for that Zoom call or getting dressed for it or whatever. You just pop into your avatar from your bed and there you go. You're good to go. So it can actually be good if people use it properly and do not abuse it, I guess. But everybody, I think, sets their own levels, standards, let's say, of what is abuse or misuse of a technology or not. I would like to think that.
Really, you could be working in the perfect world, essentially, where you are having that human contact.
Correct.
You know, although like you're split into two worlds, your real life, we'll call it, of pre-wearing the helmet and the 8 hours you have the helmet on. And you are having that face-to-face meeting because I am sat opposite you. You know, so you do have that the virtual human contact. You just got access to a whole world. Okay.
Again, remote work, right? Because it is a bit parallel to this notion of living and working within a virtual space, right? I've seen nobody. I mean, the vast majority of people have not complained that they're working remotely. And you look up any research within this last time period, and I know it's a short time period for, massive, even though there are quite large pieces of research being conducted on a sociological level, but the majority of people don't mind working like that. So I do not see people having a problem with immersing themselves in a virtual world. Now the question is, what sort of technology will be more widely used? Is it going to be the VR technology? Is it going to be the AR technology? Or is it going to be the MR, the mixed reality technology? My professional hunch is that it's the latter. It's the mixed reality.
So what does that qualify as, and how does that work?
Qualified. Okay, so let's see how each one qualifies. AR, very simple. You even have it today. Pokemon Go. You get a device. You have a virtual things happening within through your device within the world around you, your space, your current space. Virtual reality is actually more expensive. You need more equipment. You need a proper setup, let's say. And when it came out. And it came out a long time ago, guys. It's been definitely more than about 15 years, even more. So everyone was thinking it's VR is going to take over, but it hasn't evolved to the point where it will take over. It's still a cumbersome technology to work with. You need equipment for it, right? It has worked well in some verticals like gaming, for example, or now with the lack of travel, for example, in Japan they're having VR travel experiences. You just go somewhere, you pay like a price for admission, and you just sit there for the whole day. Imagine that you're on an airplane, just sitting in an armchair with a VR set, and then you've landed, I don't know, in the Maldives, and you're going around in this virtual world.
How realistic is it?
Quite.
Yeah.
It is quite realistic. Then you have mixed reality, which is kind of a combination too, and there's massive companies involved with that. Microsoft is involved with that. The HoloLens project, and the product actually, not product, because they're selling those. And there's a lot of other companies, not just Microsoft, involved with that. And that is basically less cumbersome to use. Why? So I'm wearing specs, right? You put on your specs, and through your specs, you do everything. So you are in contact with your natural environment, with your real environment, like this space right here. But within this space, you get holographic kind of imagery and objects and people that come into that real space.
So for a presentation, if I'm showing someone like a technology, where before it's like the simple slideshow, or it's a lot harder to do a demo. But however, if you do an augmented reality, where you can get a three-dimensional image almost and deconstruct it.
Correct, and already the technology, and anybody can look it up. I mean, go watch some YouTube videos from Microsoft HoloLens 1 and HoloLens 2 projects. So it's not just having three-dimensional objects. You can have that as well. It's fantastic, but you can have all the apps that you currently have, let's say, on your Windows, right? You can take a Skype call while walking down the street. You're seeing it. If you watch a video, you're going to completely understand what I'm saying. You're seeing the real world out there. In the corner of your eye is the video call with the other person. So I can be walking and ordering a coffee and have Sally from the States having a sales call with me at the same time through this device, these specs, and it kind of brings in the virtual world into the natural world, which is something that the other two technologies by themselves do not do. So it's a hybrid of these two, and that is spectacular. That is spectacular because it's being applicably used now in a lot of work environments, from production lines to actually training people. You wear the headset, and it delivers you hands-on training of what you're supposed to do. Let's say you have to bolt the bumper in front of a new Ford Focus, right? And you're in the Ford production plant, and you're a newbie, and it explains to you how to put it on, which nuts to screw, how tightly to screw them, and everything. It just gives you a tutorial. So the technology is being used like that today, and for everything else, conference calls, you name it. It's applied scenarios are quite broad. Okay, and I think very soon we will see a shift. I'll take a bet on this. I'll make a gamble on this, but I think very soon we will see it, and my soon is within the next 5 to 10 years. All right. I think we'll see a shift of these devices being more and more used, and phones and smartphones going a little bit out of fashion. So these devices are going to be, the more they develop, they're going to be more and more used for every sort of scenario out there, whether it's business, pleasure, you name it. You can be wearing the driving and having the GPS at the same time, pointing you with arrows where to go while driving and looking at the road, except if your car is a self-driven car. Which
is... for example, Elon Musk and Neuralink, which is being worked on at the moment, okay? Now, this is going to be very open-minded, but also slightly not dystopian. It's just an evolvement of our brain where we have Neuralink put in there. You won't need glasses because it's sending a message straight to your brain, to the optic nerve.
To the optic nerve, to the synapses, the optic synapses.
So you won't need it. This will be, even your glasses, that'll be like something from the 1800s. Because then what are you seeing? What is real? What would be the augmented reality, the virtual reality? Actually, that is quite dystopian. It's essentially quite who controls the image.
I am sure at some point, I'd like to hope at some point, many thousands and thousands of years ago, there were two Neanderthals in a cave who just discovered fire, okay, and they were talking to each other thinking, hey, do you think our jaw structure will change? Because obviously as humans, that is if we don't cause a mass extinction event for ourselves, the way we're, sustainability and the environment and all that. If we keep progressing and evolving within the context of our world, of our environment, of our planet, this is not the end of our physiological evolution. Okay, we will evolve as species. We might, I don't know, there's fish in the bottom of the oceans that are completely blind, but yet they hunt, yet they survive, yet they thrive. So can it happen? Obviously not in our lifetime. It will not happen. We're going through an immense kind of shift right now with this, through adoption of technology and through technological advances. But can it happen? Obviously, if you look at how we've evolved physiologically, yes, it can. Will we allow it to happen? I have no idea. We might not. We might, put rules on its usage, on its application. We might do other things. But Neuralink is a very interesting project.
Well, with that though, I think it's been covered 2,000 years ago, with say Plato's allegory of the cave. Where have a look. I won't go into it now, but if you go on YouTube, it takes 5 minutes so it's very interesting. But you got one person in the cave seeing a different version of reality to the other two people. Correct. But in the end, they take on a certain reality. Correct. Will the allegory of the cave be the same with Neuralink?
It's quite possible, but it's if we allow it to become an allegory in a sense. This is where I'm thinking, and obviously we're more evolved now than back in our Neanderthal years. I'd like to think so.
But what we covered earlier, our brain size is still the same.
It is, but
the processing speed is maybe faster.
Exactly. We do have more neurons and synapses firing up from very early age, because we are exposed to a vast amount of more stimuli out there. But it's different stimuli today. Obviously, back then, I don't know, you might have like, dangerous beasts trying to eat you, and so your body evolves to combat that reality versus the one that we're living in today. So our physiological state right now is exactly where it should be, right? Based on how we're living and our reality. So again, philosophers of the past, well, there's a reason we still study them today, because obviously the questions that they posed are still very valid questions today, and they go down to the very notion of existence. Why are we here? What are we all doing? And all that thing. So
we still got the same existential problems that we had 2,000, 4,000
pretty
years
much
ago.
it's just different. Our dangers now are different. Our dangers are, I don't know, the climate, the ice caps melting, us drowning, the nuclear weapons being used, or technological weapons being used or abused. These are our differences. But are we in any way less or more safe or less safe than before? I just think we're more civilized and aware of ourselves and the impact of our actions, let's say, on a general environment. And as a species, yes, we have prevailed to be the most dominant species on the planet, period, ever. Okay, since the dinosaurs. All right, that's us. It's our reign now. It's the reign of man. So whether
it's the reign of man,
it is. But it is. It is. We are, whether anything good or bad that happens to this world is within our grasp. It's within our control, in a sense. We have exercised crazy amount of control over our environment. I'm not just talking about the natural environment. I'm talking about all our civilizations, our societies, everything, our technology. We are just beasts in full blown out mode right now, and we are very dominant species. So whether we're going to make this a good reign or a bad reign, it's up to us. But we have a lot of technology out there, because we started it about AR and mixed reality and went back to the philosophical. But we're inventing this really cool stuff that can make our lives easier, that can make our lives as well more sustainable if used properly, and that can actually help us evolve as a civilization and as a dominant species to achieve more perhaps than what we have achieved so far within the confines of just our little floating rock in space, our planet. So
all right, mate, let's wrap it up there. Daniel, if you could give your details on the SplendidAgency as well, if somebody wants to hook up or see your innovative marketing campaigns and how they can help you.
Definitely check us out, www.splendid.agency. Check us out. We put a lot of our thoughts also in our blog, tackle a lot of quirky little subjects sometimes, so check us out. But we're always open for a chat and a coffee, and you're most welcome to join us.
All right, cheers everyone. See ya. Bye.